Hey, imagine you're cruising down the mighty St. Lawrence River. You come to a place called Iroquois, and they say you can't go in the lock. Well, you can go through here. What would you do? This video series chronicles our 3-week cruise in the summer of 2024 around the Golden Triangle, and we do it almost. This is the boat that makes it all possible for us for our different vacations on the water, our 1971 HOBO houseboat. On this trip, we have used the Canadian National Park system extensively for mooring, for docking. All the locks and canals are maintained as a historic treasure. All these islands have these pristine places to anchor and to camp and to dock. Adelaide Island was no exception. The hidden tail of Grenadier Island extends to the north and surfaces as Adelaide Island and a number of other small islands and rocks above and below the surface. So we avoid those, and at the end of that is Dark Island. I encourage you to Google Singer Castle on Dark Island for history. This is an amazing operating, I'll call it a museum. It's privately owned, but there are tours there. You can hold weddings and events there. You can even stay overnight there if you wish, if you've got the bucks to do that. If you have your own steam yacht, I think it's under renovation right now, the boathouse, but it would accommodate something, I think it's 18 feet by 125 feet, and this fellow had a couple steam yachts. This island mansion was built or sponsored by Frederick Bourne. He was the 5th president of the Singer Sewing Machine Company, and that's the name that sticks on the castle today. It was built around the same time as Bolt Castle, which was never completed. It's elsewhere on the Thousand Islands. They both used granite from the Canadian island, Oak Island. Fun fact, over 2,000 loads of topsoil were brought from Canada to cover the rock on this island. We completed our loop of the island. It was about 9:30 in the morning, and it was too early to consider a tour. That would have been interesting, but we continued across the rocky tail of Grenadier Island, all those rocks and islands, and we picked our way through there and headed for Mallorytown Landing. We had to get a little closer just to pick out the features, and we saw the Park Office, National Park Office, and also the TJ Guild Marine, where we were going to get gasoline after. This is Mallorytown Landing. This is the little office outpost of Thousand Islands National Park. They have a little nature display. They're showing us endangered species. They have a small office. There are walking trails and things here. There is a boat launch, and there are docks. Over here is, I believe it's TJ Guild Marine, and just in there, there's a gas dock with a fairly prominent sign. So we just stopped here for a washroom break. We got a decal for the boat that says Thousand Islands, and we're going to get some gas. You can identify there's a red-roofed pavilion and a flag. If you see it from the water, that's on this little peninsula. And until you come around the peninsula, you don't realize that you can dock here. The gas dock and sign is fairly prominent, though. Besides the park office, they had this pavilion out on the point with great views. And there are also some displays on the original cultures in the area. Here are some pictographs and meanings. English, French, pictographs. Before going for fuel, I thought I'd do a little cleanup. Last night we used our white anchor light to display our position while moored, and the bugs are attracted, of course. They land or fall down on the dew, and they get stuck, and in the morning they dry out, and I clean them up. Well, we went and got fuel. The fuel dock's just a couple hundred yards away from the park dock. We left the fuel dock around 20 after 11 in the morning. You can tell I don't have a shirt on. It was hot. We had about 8 miles to go before we started to hit the Brockville Island group, and then it was about 10 or 11 miles to Brockville itself. We set our speed at an economical 8 miles an hour. That's with about a 2 mile an hour current downstream. we approach the Brockville Islands. The Brockville Island group is made up of about 15 or 16 publicly owned islands that they had the foresight to purchase. Not all the islands in the group are public. There are some that are private, of course. And there is also one national park island that we have mooring privileges at. That's Stovin Island. We'll eventually be there. This is a Sunday, and the weekend crowd are still here, and the docks are fairly full everywhere. We hope there's room tonight elsewhere. Stovin Island is where we're planning on staying. This is Stovin Island, the one national park that we have mooring privileges at, and we're hoping to come back here tonight. It is almost full, but I think there's room there for us. Hopefully it stays that way. Stovin Island as a national park island in the midst of the Brockville City Islands is probably a little less popular. Okay, off we go to downtown Brockville. We've got to cross the shipping channel. The traffic is clear. We can go across. The wake from these large freighters is broadly spaced, so it's not really a problem for us. We cut through a number of the islands. More of these have cottages on them, and then we work our way into Brockville, into the harbor. Brockville has a great harbor and great waterfront facilities. Brockville's name is the City of the Thousand Islands. There is a long history of Brockville as a port and as a center for industry and for shipping. This railway tunnel can be explored. It's a public spectacle. Anyhow, you can enter it. It was a railway tunnel that reached the waterfront. The tunnel takes you quite a bit higher in elevation out of the main downtown into a residential neighborhood. Then we came back. The downtown is quite nice and historic. You can buy what you need there. The marina and downtown complex is called the Tall Ships Landing, and it includes, of course, a marina, full service with gasoline and so on. There is a restaurant there. There is an aquatarium, a type of aquatic museum. There's a fair bit of parkland, and it's all close to the downtown. We left Brockville about 20 to 4. We thought we'd better get back and see if we had a spot at Stovin Island. And indeed we did. It worked out well, but it was an interesting approach. We're a little cautious. We had good charts, but you could see the rocks and you can see the bedrock that forms this bay. For the evening, we shared the dock with a family in a houseboat from Quebec. We checked out the island. We went to the main ship channel side facing Canada, and that's interesting there and very beautiful. The rocks everywhere. We walked a little bit of trail, at least as far as the pit toilet, to figure out where that was, and there were a few interesting things to see. Trees and rocks, berries and flowers, and some kind of interesting stump here. What could this be? Okay, here's Stovin Island on the south side. Yeah, be careful, don't twist an ankle. For it.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do is run, eh? Get away from... Woo! Take a picture. Then consented.
While Janet continued to spend time at the water, I went back to the boat to do some serious contemplation and enjoy the beauty that surrounded us. But my concentration is not very good, and this is the result. Baby castor, baby beaver.
Okay, so we see there. Birds right there. Birds right there. Oh, so good. Tu vois? C'est là qu'il y a un bébé castor avec sa maman.
There's evidence here. They have fence to keep it out. That's where we heard the first splash. And all the sticks are gathered here, and it started to stick sticks in here to make a nest or something. There is a tree, one tree up there that's chewed. So baby beaver, you could just see its fur there. I disturbed it by turning on the light. Okay, the beaver is returning. Oh, this is kind of dark, so the resolution's not good. There it comes.
Wow, Andrew, are you getting it?
Yes. Coming right in front of our boat. Or she. Underneath the dock. Oh, a big splash. Stay away, that means.
We really enjoy our meals on the water, even though they're fairly simple. This dessert that Janet came up with was truly an innovation, and it was just a perfect end to the day.
She moved her babies from here back to there. This is Brockville Narrows, and you can get an idea of the current there. Some places close to shore. Let's see, we're looking at, I was going to say something floating. That's actually a ball of foam, I believe. It's hard to tell. Sometimes you think, oh, it's a swan. It's not. But when a freighter goes by, it's a 170-foot wide channel, I believe, and two boats or ships can pass. You can have a lake freighter, and you can see it here without seeing the back end. See the full wall, and you'll see it up to here without seeing the front end. When you're on the dock behind us, on the other side of this little island, you can see this big wall going past through the trees. This is looking generally southward, the United States, here from Stovin Island. This is one of the Brockville public islands, just, I guess, south of Stovin Island here. Stovin's a national park island. That's City Park. That was packed yesterday. And of course, today is Monday, so everybody has moved off. And that right there is, I believe, a City of Brockville boat come to do the maintenance and cleanup and so on. So. Hop on, Janet.
Okay, so push off a teeny bit.
Push off a teeny bit. We'll go parallel. Hop on. Yay.
Oh, okay.
Bye-bye, girls.
Au revoir. Oh, you too. Have fun. Can I see you? Philip? Oh, okay, good. And Genevieve, good.
Yeah,
Andrew,
bye-bye.
Janet, okay, bye. Yep. Oh, I should go up here.
Yeah, eyeball.
Oh, you're good here. Oh, this is so beautiful. I want to go swimming again. Oh. Okay, slowly you're going. Okay, yeah, you're good, you're good. Wow, they're so beautiful.
Okay, move to one side then. There we go.
Well, this looks familiar because we're heading back past Brockville one more time. Today's destination is Iroquois. There's a lock and a dam there, and that's where we will be staying for the night. We have a few islands to pass through, some rocks, McNair and Murray. We're off the main channel. If you look directly ahead, the freighter is going to be going on the opposite side of McNair Island. The intentions of this tour boat were unclear, whether it would pass in front of us or whether it wanted to turn beside us, port to port, and go through the channel we just are exiting.
Well, the Erie Hobo is northeast of Brockville on the St. Lawrence, and here is the Federal Shimanto passing us by on the port side. What a beautiful ship she is. The Federal Shimanto.
5 miles past Brockville, we passed Maitland.
10 miles ahead is the Johnstown Bridge. Johnstown on the Canadian side. And it's just barely visible. I'm trying to zoom. And through the haze, I can make it out. I don't know that you can make it out yet with camera view.
There are reminders of the past, like old industries or old maritime fixtures like this lighthouse or tower being resurrected, and then current industry, such as DuPont.
This boat is the Jessica B on the St. Lawrence with us, just northeast of Maitland. This is now the wake from the Jessica B Majuro. Whoa! The waves are farther apart, so they're like swells, which our little boat can handle better. Okay, Captain Andrew did a good job with that.
From the Maitland area, we're proceeding to the marina at Prescott. Prescott is opposite Augsburg, New York. There are a few notable features on the Prescott waterfront: the Coast Guard, the downtown, nice park area, and just beyond the entrance is Fort Wellington. We approached the harbor entrance from beside the Fort Wellington fort. It was hard to tell what was inside because of the height of the rock. We found a place to tie up and reported in, and we did some exploration of the town. As a river town, Prescott has a river walk, of course. There are different features such as the lighthouse, and there's supposed to be an ice cream shop in the bottom of that. There's the Kinsman Amphitheater, and they host a Shakespearean festival as well.
Here we are at the waterfront in Prescott, and we're getting a view here of CSL Welland. This is a similar view to what we have near us in Windsor, but they're really plowing along against the current here.
If you're interested in history, just pause at each one of the frames that come up. This specifically is the history of Prescott. Prescott is a river town. The real thing, the St. Lawrence is full of history. It's been about 500 years since it was originally discovered by French explorers, and they're looking for gold, of course, and they found more than that. and they started habitation. They pretty much got as far as Montreal navigating. Then you run into a lot more rapids and so on beyond Montreal. Hence the development more recently of, over years in the 19th and 20th century, different canals that would bypass rapids and so on. And eventually in the 50s, you end up with the St. Lawrence Seaway we have today, with different sections where the nasty rapids were all flooded. We were only in Prescott for an hour and a quarter or so, but we saw a fair bit, and we definitely would return by water or by land. There's a lot to see and consider. We like the history. So off we went out into the St. Lawrence again. We are looking ahead to the Johnston Bridge. Across from Prescott directly is Augustenburg, and it's still the tail end of Augustenburg once you get up to the Johnstown Bridge. There are Port of Johnstown terminals, which really are, it's like a suburb of Prescott. The distances here are not far, just a couple of miles. We got through underneath the bridge and continued on towards Cardinal. There's shipping evident, and we made note of all the boats that we saw. As we approach Cardinal, we encounter the North Channel, the old North Channel, and the old Galop Canal, which is now obsolete. The old Galop Canal is obsolete and abandoned now because of the Iroquois control dam farther downstream that we're going to get to today. The Iroquois lock controls the Lake Ontario levels behind it, which we're at right at this time, and controls it for the downstream of that into what they call Lake St. Lawrence. More on that later. We went into the sort of a dead-end canal leading to the old lock. It's blocked by a bridge there through the actual old lock, and we were going to inspect an interesting wreck. Up ahead is the wreck of the Wee Hawk. I think it was intentionally sunk. WEE Hawk. There's another wreck over there, the Conestoga. This is a metal frame hulk, and I don't know how close we can get to it. Evidently up on the shore you can look down, you'll see the ribs better. I don't know how good we'll do here. We'll try and get a little closer. I didn't want to get too close to the wreck because I wasn't sure the layout, how far it extended or anything like that. People do dive it, and I think it's a moderate capability. I was curious about this old cement dock. There were openings in it, and I could see boats on the other side. I didn't know if we could go through. Is there debris there? How do they access that? We find that out later on. We went out and back in. The first gap gets us into the old canal area from the lock, and there's another gap that goes to another section there, and that is how you can get access under a road bridge to that bay where those boats were parked. So that's the answer there. We left the canal and headed up to see the Conestoga wreck. This is another boat, a steamboat that burned and sank in shallow water. We didn't get too close. Onward we go down river from Cardinal, and our ultimate destination, and not scary but most exciting part of the day we were looking forward to, was passing the Iroquois control dam. We're too small for the lock. At 18 feet, we need to be at least 20 to go into that large lock, and it would cost us a few bucks to do so too. So we're going to save some money and go through the dam. While we were still quite far away, we were able to see the dam with the help of binoculars. Okay, we are recording. Iroquois control dam coming up. We're just under half a mile away. Hard to see. I'll go to port over here. You can see the freighter sitting up high. It's in the Iroquois lock. So we're bypassing the lock and going through this. It has a nominal height clearance of 8.5 feet. We have our anchor light off and our flag off. Our total height is about 79 inches, so that's about 6.5 feet. So we should clear this with nominally with 2 feet of clearance, but it looks low. Bridges always do.
got a little, my steering's off a bit, but also there's a little bit of side flow here, so I'll crab over a bit. And you can see there's one on the left there fully open. That's for upbound traffic. So we get the downbound here. They just 2 bays over, that fully open one, that's upbound. And they fight about a 3 mile an hour current. It varies, but in one spot we checked 2 directions and it was about a 3 mile an hour. Based on what it's saying right now, I think in this location it's about a 2.5 mile an hour current. Okay, we're getting over to one side here.
Gates open. Minimum clearance 8.5 feet.
Gates
Okay.
open, 8.5, that's
Oh,
what
you
it
gotta
says.
get over a little bit.
Yeah, you're right.
You
I
gotta get
keep
over.
aiming by eye rather
Yes,
than
I'm in the
traffic.
middle here.
Yeah.
And I'm,
Yeah.
this is the middle, right? So you
Okay.
gotta, well, now turn, you gotta turn in.
I want to maintain power so we have some control. Yeah, but we're crabbing. We're crabbing. Oh, lots of clearance. Look at this. Look at this. A little bit of swell. Look at that. Get a
Oh,
picture
thank
up.
you, Lord. Oh, I was just scared.
I've been concerned about that for since last year, thinking about this.
Hallelujah, we're through. This is the other side of the Iroquois Dam. Oh, hallelujah, we're through. We were scared. Okay, but we're through. Thank you, Lord.
I was able to verify, are the gates open? I finally called the marina today that had a definitive answer. The official websites for OPG, Ontario Power Generation, they issued not warnings, but confirmations in previous years in May. And the last one they did was May 2023. Not a single thing can I find on May 2024. I emailed them through a contact number prior to the trip, no response. So I guess they always open them at some point in the season. It depends on flooding, and they got to control flooding in Montreal. So that's it for right now. We're going to look at, there's a marina over here to the left, Galop Landing Marina. I think we're going to try that.
We turned towards the marina after we came through the dam. Looking off our port side, we could see the lock control tower, and then we came across the functioning working lock here, 1955 approximately. You can see in blue the older original lock and canal leading to it. It's been somewhat blocked off. I think there's a drainage culvert underneath the one road that crosses it, but the marina is built into the one end of it. On approach to the marina, we had to stay to the buoyed path because if you had a deep draft, you might actually encounter slightly or a submerged lock wall that had been flooded out through the dam farther down at Cornwall. It raised the whole level of this Lake St. Lawrence up, and some of these structures are buried beneath the water. We tied up at the lock wall and paid our dues. Folks here weren't really used to dealing with transients, and the woman at the desk did not know what to charge us at first. It wasn't the cheapest, but it was secure. You note here a turning pond. I call it a turning pond. It's probably really just where a boat would lay over to one side. I retrieved my prize. Now I've got enough fenders for 3 boats. We returned to the marina to have a shower and make some supper. Then Janet decided to go for a run and catch a boat going through the lock.
The Federal Bristol is entering the lock entrance, or the lead up to it, dead slow. Alignment's got to be perfect. You can see all the scrapes on the one side. My one friend Richard used to be a wheelsman on Great Lakes, and he says he's scraped a ship or two.
I'm glad that Janet ran and she kept up with the ship, got there just before it came in. Here's a layout of the lock. so you see what's happening, and then her subsequent video.
The bridge is going down. Just getting it now. The Majuro is getting ready to start moving out. The smokestack is belching black smoke, just like when they came to a dead stop, and now it's starting to move forward.
That's it for episode 10. Thanks for watching. The final episode of our Golden Triangle trip, episode 11, is going to come out shortly, and it's going to be kind of interesting. There will be some current events in it. We currently have a ship grounded out on Chrysler Shoal, and we'll be passing over actually Chrysler Shoal, or right next to it. The lost villages, those are some of the villages that were flooded out at the creation of the St. Lawrence Seaway, and we'll be ending up in Gwendon Park, which is owned by Cornwall. Okay, good day now.